What's up, jobbers, and welcome to the edition of the Jobber Market Podcast. This is Adam Nethel. It's Adam Nethel. Just kidding. No, it's the always ready Nestlemania alongside for Riders Not JC. As we have a special guest tonight, we have the one, the only, the ZOAT, Zachary Levaye, with me today. Thank you for filling in, Zachariah.
I am glad to be back, Nestlemania. It's always nice to see your beautiful face. It's been a minute since I've seen it. But you know what the difference between myself and AJ Styles is? We're not having any fancy tribute shows for me because I'm not retiring anytime soon, and neither are you.
No, not yet. They probably want me to retire, but god damn it, am I going to keep this going for a very, very long time. So we've got a lot to talk about here today. I feel like I should call you the ZOAT, but it'd be weird. Zach, I'm going to call you by your real government name. Sorry.
That's all it is. You know, I mean, we're on a first name basis at this point, but I just won't call. I won't do it for the sake of, keeping the gimmick of the show alive.
That's fine. You can call me whatever you want. I don't really care. As long as you talk to me. That's basically all we have to worry about. Anyway.
As long as you're not late for dinner.
That's right. So we have a lot to talk about here. We do have Elimination Chamber predictions. We also have, of course, Raw, SmackDown, AEW, if you want to talk about it. And we should probably just get into the regular part of the show, which is the shine, where the good stuff happens. You are the guest. Usually people say that I'm Mr. Negativity. So most of the time when I hang out with you, you usually are a breath of fresh air. You usually have a lot of positive things to say. Is there anything?
Yeah, I try to, because in a world full of like crudiness and negativity and people always being divided, it's nice to just look at the positives where we can. And I mean, especially in a world like in the WWE, this is why I'm so glad that I got to come back here, because I'm so sick and tired of seeing all the monotony and the stuff about ticket sales and being mad at creative teams that, where now they can star on reality shows and all that. Let's just talk about the wrestling. Let's just talk about the beauty that is pro wrestling. And I think there's no better place to start in the shine when it comes to the beauty of pro wrestling than who Monday Night Raw was revolved around the entire show. Was the phenomenal AJ Styles. I mean, it's really the only big thing I can draw from Raw. I think SmackDown was a much stronger show this week, but we could get more into that stuff when we're done talking about the meat of the matter, which is AJ Styles. 4 weeks after the retirement at Royal Rumble, they did a great job at sprinkling stuff throughout with all the cameos that we'll get into with that. And yeah, I mean, what better way than, 20 plus years of this freaking guy.
Listen, I've always been a fan of AJ Styles ever since I watched TNA and on those weekly pay-per-views, which were kind of nuts back in the day, but I really enjoyed it. And I just thought he basically showed an entire generation that anything was, physically possible. I mean, he was phenomenal for a particular reason. And I loved seeing him do his thing in TNA for a very long time. I was ecstatic to see him in the Bullet Club with New Japan. And then finally seeing him, he's done everything, Ring of Honor, yada, yada. But man, when he got to the WWE, I just never thought he'd make it to the WWE, and boy, did he make a splash. I think still to this day, I try not to be too negative about it, but this is just my 2 cents. It feels like a lot of people don't give him his flowers. They don't look at him as the guy, Zach. He has 2 world title reigns. I get that, but I feel like he's very underappreciated because I feel like in those early SmackDown Live days, they built the show around him.
Literally. And it's one of these things where, I think it's a lot of because, yeah, he had those 2 world title runs, but I mean, you only really ever talk about the second one. That year-long reign where he had the Samoa Joe feuds and the Nakamura feuds and the Daniel Bryans and all that. And again, that's paying homage to what this guy's done throughout. Because it's like you said, you go back to the TNA. I mean, you showed your age a little bit, unfortunately I wasn't around for those pay-per-view days. But even when I got into TNA as late as I did, and he's just transitioning into the lone wolf stuff. And then like you said, with the Bullet Club in New Japan. And I'll never forget when he debuted for WWE. And I had, my friend John, he's sitting next to me at that 2016 Rumble. And AJ comes out number 3, and I'll never forget. He's like, who the heck is this guy? And I'm like, you don't know? You're about to find out. And they wasted no time. They really, they gave him the Jericho feud. He does the stuff with Roman, immediately wins the title, all that. But a lot of it, too, is it's just he never needed to be in the spotlight all the time because he was fine just being, okay, you need me to be in a tag team with a guy like Omos? Sure, I'll do that today. You need me to do a never-ending U.S. program with Kevin Owens? Sure. You want me to carry the pandemic of the Intercontinental Championship? Sure. He's just that guy. He can literally be put in any division against any guy, and he'll make magic with it. And I think that's a testament to someone like an AJ who, like you said, and it's been touted ever since the retirement, where it's like he was the inspiration for an entire movement of wrestling that's really gotten us to like even where the independence and the professional like TV wrestling is today. Like a lot of that stems from those AJ Styles, Daniels, Samoa Joe matches onwards and upwards to everything he's done now.
It's an excellent point. I mean, he really is a special kind of talent. And honestly, I think I tweeted it out yesterday, but I think it bears repeating here, is that not only is he everybody's favorite wrestler, at least at some point in your life, you probably thought he was on your top 5, I'm sure. But watching him talk, especially last night, I think he's probably everybody's favorite human being, because he seems like a stand-up father, a stand-up husband, a stand-up guy, a stand-up wrestler, a stand-up employee. There's literally, I'd be hard pressed to find somebody that doesn't like AJ Styles in any form. So, I mean, I'm sure they're out there, but they're probably, little loopy.
They're wrong. And I mean, it's okay to be wrong sometimes, everybody gets one, right? Like they say about Spider-Man, but at the end of the day, like as cheesy as the Creed song was and all that, it still brings the tear to your eye, right? Because it's just that encapsulation. Like you're taken on a high ride when you're watching an AJ Styles match, and you're like, you literally came on the rise with him. Like that song, like it hits. And then you're seeing how much he meant to so many people. Like I'm a huge Xavier Woods fan, and like I remember hearing an interview that he did during the Stephanie thing, where it's like, he's the reason that a guy like me could come from TNA and like be able to be that success, because a guy like him allowed me to come into that place, and then I could then open the door to WWE. Like the little things that his influence, on people that you would never think would have that connection to him. Like you see if you watch the video that they posted on their YouTube after the fact of everybody who's in the ring that's hugging him, and you're like, who's this guy? Like, why is he here? Why is Otis and Tozawa here? But you don't know what these guys are doing on the road. You don't know how much of an impact somebody means unless you're there or unless they tell you. And it goes to show how strong of a presence he was, where, yeah, he wasn't the guy. He's not Roman Reigns. He's not the guy that you're putting on every poster, which he should be. But he's somebody that the locker room looks to, where Charlotte's even like, who am I going to text to about my matches? There's somebody that like, it's the same thing like with an R-Truth, right? Like when he got fired, everybody's like, how are we going to like have the WWE dichotomy without a Truth? How are we going to go on without an AJ Styles in our locker room? And it's going to be interesting to see.
Mm-hmm. Our buddy, the Joe Stoppers here. Good evening, gentlemen. Good evening to you, Joe Stopper, and your Snuggie. I'm sure you're petting your cat, Georgia. I'm probably giving away too much information, but anyway, here we are. But anyway, again, I would have liked to see AJ Styles go for a little while longer. Clearly, his daughter had a lot to say about that, and to see him say he wanted to be a full-time dad was a really important thing, I think, for him when he said it. And you could see him get choked up. We talked about it in the Jobber Knocker thread last night about when Steph came out last night. It was like, oh shit, Steph's back there. So it was just like, I think he was generally surprised. Of course, he's in the Hall of Fame, first ballot Hall of Famer. I always hate that when they're like first ballot Hall of Famer. It's like, give me a fucking break. It's wrestling, but whatever. I mean, yes, he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, but I always hate first ballot. Like,
you know what? He got in the Hall of Fame before Bill Belichick. That's a testament to his ability.
Well, that's to be fair, AJ Styles has never had any Deflategate issues. He's never had any type of real bad things, I guess, to go.
His 2 world titles to Belichick's 8. Who cares?
It is what it is.
I mean, if you count TNA and Ring of Honor and New Japan, you're probably about the same.
No. I do not count. Well, New Japan, I'll count. I will not. I will never recognize Ring of Honor as a world championship. I'm sorry. That's just
TNA though.
TNA
count? Is it like a pre 2015 thing? Like if it's before that it counts?
I feel like I'm on a fence about that. Like, here's my question: is ECW the World ECW Championship? Is that a world title? Do you count Taz as a world champion?
Yeah, if you don't count the WWE CW title, yes. Once you have the rebranded version, I feel like it kind of is just a belt for the sake of being a belt.
So my thing is, if you're a regional company who has a world championship, that's ridiculous.
Oh, we're going that Okay.
That's my logic, though.
That's okay. No, because I get with that on the indies all the time. I can't stand when you're in freaking your one town, let alone your one freaking thing,
Now
and it's a world
you
title.
can be the promotions champion. I got
Yes.
no problem with that. But when you call yourself a world champion, I'm like, you're not going overseas with that fucking thing. So it is what it is. If you're counting NFL as a world champion, then TNA is 100% a world champion. Danny from the fucking top rope in England. Love you, Danny. Look, listen, we can sit here and we can split hairs all night, but we got a lot more to talk about. But
yeah, we do.
But I always sit there. But listen, I can be talked into ECW being a world, because at the end of ECW with TNN and like they went to different parts of the United States to have pay-per-views, I could be talked into. But for like a very long time, I'd say pre-97, maybe a 98, I'd say abso-fucking-lutely not. So, but that's just me. But we can get into that argument another time.
Wrestling.
This is great about wrestling. It's subjective, not objective. Is there anything else that's positive there, Zach?
I'll give some praise to our compatriot over at Proving Ground. Not the biggest fan of triple threat matches, and I feel like if your name is Triple H, the answer to everything is do it in a triple threat, and that's how we figure things out. But so they're constantly happening, but when they're done right, like they really are like this really nice flowing piece. What I liked, especially in the SmackDown ones, because like we can obviously get into how the Raw one went into a disaster with the men's with Bronson Reed's injury, and then the women's. But like at least on SmackDown, it didn't feel like the heels like had a reason to just gang up on the babyface. Like everybody had a reason to scrap with each other, team up where it was appropriate. It didn't feel like multiple singles matches until like it got down to the nitty gritty, and then it's like guy has to get there for the breakup. So like I like that. Like as much as Kiana James comes out of nowhere pick to even be in this elimination chamber, I love the way she crucifixes Charlotte out of the figure eight for that pin. Like it brings me back to when Curtis Axel wins the Intercontinental title off the Miz in that triple, where he pins him on the 4-way or whatever. And I'm like, oh my God, that's some crazy stuff. Nobody does anything like inventive like that. Same thing with Trick and all them, Mello and Damien. They all played their roles. And, again, they're taken out where they need to be taken out. And like they're where they need to be. And then Trick, countering with the double knees and all that. And Mello saving himself, I just think they worked out really well for themselves. I think the chamber fields are all right. I mean, they had to work with what they had to tell the stories that they did with Roman winning the Rumble. But yeah, I mean, if you want something done right, just put it in a triple threat, I guess.
Well, that's one person's perspective. I think I agree with you that the SmackDown matches were way better than the Raw matches. But I will say this much. I get a lot of shit on this program, especially from JC and a couple of people in the chat, about Kiana James. I have not seen, in my opinion, enough of Kiana James to warrant the praise in which, now granted, she might be enhanced a little certain way, and that's obvious. I think she's a good hand. Also, I believe Julia is overhyped, so that's part of the issue I have. But I will say this much. It's a big upset. We know that Charlotte's a huge fan of Kiana James and that she wanted to put her over, I'm sure. And here's my thing. Usually on this podcast, we have a joke that's going that Charlotte is usually the shoveler. She doesn't want to help people. She wants to sandbag. When she doesn't want to turn it on, she doesn't want to turn it on. But if you watch on Friday night there, Zach, it was the exact opposite of that. When you want to work with someone and you want to put someone over, boy, do the working boots get to be put on. And I think that's the difference when you watch it. It's like, oh, maybe she does sandbag a teensy-weensy bit.
Yeah, like, and again, like, that's why I did not, as somebody who is not the biggest Charlotte Flair fan by a country mile, an advocate for the Nia Jax just kind of needs to not. Kiana James, like you said, she hasn't really shown a lot to, like, warrant everybody's, like, woo-ha about her. But I came out of watching that match pleasantly surprised. Like, it was better than I thought it was going to be. Like, the Spanish Fly was beautifully, like, it flowed so beautifully. I wish Kiana had actually, like, really gotten out of that pin, though. But then, like I said, like, she comes out of nowhere with the Samoan drop on Nia. I'm like, where did that come from? Who chose that? but like craziness. Like if you're gonna accentuate her, do it. But I think a lot of these dynamics are kind of backwards because you were talking about Julia, where it's like, okay, she's the United States champion, but she's the primary piece of this act while Kiana's in the chamber. Same thing where it's like, if you look at Mello and Trick, right? Mello took 1.5 years to get to a United States championship when he was the front act of the Trick Mello gang. But Trick can come in here and cut, rock style promos and now be in the Elimination Chamber. At least they're taking a chance on some of these people, though. Like, it's better than them sitting around like an Alba Fire, Like,
no, I tend to agree with you. I just think that the problem was if Mello, and this is where people are going to, I guarantee you Danny's going to say size shamer very quickly. I love Mello, but you look at Trick and it's just like, the dude's like 6'5", and he looks like money, he talks like money, smells like money, must be money, with his lemon pepper steppers, and like does all that shit. And like, and I said it, I don't know how you can continue to make Trick Williams a bad guy when you've got that song and then he acts kind of like The Rock. It's just like, do I think he's going to get to The Rock's height of popularity? I don't know, but it could happen, and it's like,
you don't have to be like the 8-time world champion or anything. But like, even when I put in my note, like, because like his Raw and promo is better than like most anything on that show with the lemon pepper steppers. Like, but it's such simple, like, because it's the same stuff he says most any week. Like, I even wish he kind of like did a Rock style, like the Armageddon Hell in a Cell promo, where like he hit each guy, and he did a little bit of that. Like, it could have been more, but at least he tried. And his charisma, you can forget that because his charisma just carries it. And then he hits the punctuation and the fans eat it up. So it's like, you can see where it works. And hey, you know what? There's warrant now to this whole TNA's a world title thing, because look what it did for this guy.
So here's my question. Do you call the NXT title or NXT World Championship?
Well, that's the NXT Championship. They have a clear start. They don't call it a world title.
They don't go much. They might travel for a pay-per-view, but they don't. This is where you split hairs, right? So
the TNA title's gone overseas in other countries and all that.
Sure. Listen. You can talk.
Are you saying it because Trick didn't do it?
No, Trick didn't do anything except outside the United States. You want to be a national champion? You want to be a United States champion? Go right ahead.
No, that means you have to go to AEW, where they have 18 other belts with the same name.
I think everybody gets a belt the minute they sign. So, I mean, that's just how I feel about that.
Mercedes Moné should just hand you one as soon as you join the division. Does she still have any left?
I don't know. I hope she got rid of all of them and took a nice little vacation. That's just beside the point. I'm trying to think if there's anything else here that's really, really non-related to the chamber that's very exciting.
I mean, I wish that they didn't do the first Kit Wilson match with Oba, so that this one like felt more authentic. Because I felt like they did the first one, and then they did the whole segment with them where he reads the poetry in the office, and then like, I'm like, you could have just did all that without the first one, and then it would have just been like a fresh match instead of just keeping Oba in like a thread line. Mm-hmm. But now he's gonna go do stuff with Rusev, which will be fun, just some meaty men slapping meat. I'm sure JC will be excited for that. He loves his boy Rusev. Every day Rusev Day to that guy. Probably celebrating right now. That's why he's not here. Yeah. But like, again, and Kit Wilson's another one where you never thought in a million years this guy would get over. But like, congratulations, you got a catchy song and your delivery is, spot on to the point where Oba can like actually feel like an organic character rather than just big monster dude. Like, he can actually have some quips to him where I loved the read me another one. And he just insisted. And as soon as even he gets to the last line, it's like, read! Like, it just shows that, like, if you give this guy the time and you really let him, like, spin, there's more to it than just being like, I'm going to do the minute squash match every week. Like, there's depth to his character if you play around with it, but you can still keep him intimidating.
So the thing is, and we talked about this last week on the program. I don't know if you listened to this part, but we were joking about how amazing his entrance is with the boom, do, with his little like hand signals that he's doing. But we do say that it does take away from the intimidation factor for a cat. Like, I know he's probably almost close to 7 feet tall. He's a very big, giant man who can hurt you. But there were aspects to him, and I know he's brand new and he'll figure it out. but there are aspects to him where I'm just like, he looks like a teddy bear. I know that Kit Wilson said it, but he is kind of like, he looks like a teddy bear. I know he's impressive. I know he could hurt somebody, but there's something about the way he carries himself. He sounds like a gentleman. He doesn't seem like an absolute killer to me. Like when I hear Brock Lesnar's music, I think to myself, I'm going to shit my pants if I'm in the ring. This guy could eat me alive. And he doesn't give a fuck, right? But when I think it's a little bit different when I see Oba, because it's like Oba gives me the warm and fuzzies, and they're like, there he is, let's go. But like Brock Lesnar's like, oh shit, he's gonna hurt somebody.
I mean, that could almost be used to his advantage too, where you think about it, because it's like, okay, now you think you're gonna get one up on this friggin', dunce of a big man, and even then, but you talk about the strut, and even now, though, like he's adding that little bit of like he's jarbing to the camera, like he's dead eyeing whoever, and he's like having like a battle cry as he's doing it or whatever. So it's like, all right, like it's making you see like, oh, maybe I did kind of mess up because now he's coming at me. Like, and I like the way you put it, where it's like he feels like the teddy bear, use the Brock music, but it's like it feels like he's someone like a Gunther, because you talk about the sophisticated speaking. So it's like Gunther's the same way, but he does have that where it's like he's gonna kill you. So Oba is maybe like all right, it clicks as soon as the bell rings. And now it's like, now you're in trouble, because it's like, all right, you get past the teddy bear, now you die.
Mm-hmm. Here's the thing. I haven't seen him. I've seen enough of him in NXT. I've watched him thoroughly, but I feel like, again, if you're going to make him a bad guy, go big bad guy. If you're going to make him a good guy, let's make him a good guy. But like, I think people like him. I think people want to cheer for him. I think he's everything you want in a superstar. He just needs to kind of soften up and sharpen those certain edges and soften different parts of his game. I think that it'll work for him in the long run. He's definitely somebody you look at him and you're like, that's a guy that can do everything. Of course, our Joe Stopper saying Brock doesn't exactly sound like an intimidating man. That's why he has his wise man, or his best friend, or whoever you want to call it, the advocate. But look, I'll say this much. I do love Oba. I just, I'm nervous. I'm nervous that he's gonna end up a WrestleMania Open challenge. That's all I'm saying. That's where I'm nervous about it. So
what, like a Brock Open challenge?
Perhaps.
Yeah. Oh my God. That, you know what? It'd be perfect though, because Oba can do his thing, and then Brock's gonna do his little thing, and they can just have that be the whole match.
We're gonna get bouncy. Let's throw some Javon Evans in there too. Just get everybody.
Yeah,
bouncy.
why not?
Just a bounce.
I mean, he's wrestling everybody without a cleared thing anyway. So like, let him just wrestle these guys too.
So Joe said Cole referred to him as simply Oba, and I really hope he doesn't get renamed. Listen, if JC was here, he'd do his bad Vince McMahon voice where he'd say the same thing about Cesaro, where he says, Antonio Cesaro sounds like a pussy. Like so maybe like Oba is what they're chanting, but like Oba Femi, I don't know. It's just.
Well, maybe we should just drop the Femi. He'll just be Oba. It's such good shit.
He could be
JC will have the Vince, I'll have the Triple H.
He could be, yeah. Femi. Yeah. You guys have way too much fun in the chat. But again, he's definitely somebody that they seem very high on. So it's very interesting to see what happens next. I'm curious because somebody like him, they can't have him lose a lot. Not right away anyway. So.
And that's why, again, it works when he's, throwing around the War Raiders and all that. Because again, you keep the mystique. So that way, when he does eventually fight a Brock Lesnar or a Gunther, like, he comes off believable enough. Like, I mean, again, you have to sit through the Kit Wilsons, but at least they make the segments entertaining to watch, unlike the big box. We haven't been able to make that interesting yet.
Okay, moving on. I will say, this is my thing I did not expect to put in my shine that I thought was really good. I actually really liked Liv and choosing her WrestleMania opponent, and her saying this whole thing to Stephanie and then turning over to Jade and then turning back and beating the fucking piss out of her. And Stephanie sold it so well, like she dropped like a bag of potatoes. And
I will give.
And I was like, okay, that was really cool because of course there was way more like story and effort put in, and there was like next to nothing with Jade and Liv, so it would have made absolutely no sense anyway. But the nice little turn, I was like, okay, like it felt like a WrestleMania feud. Like the minute the fucking punch connected, I'm like, okay, I can run with that now. Like it's not gonna main event the night 1 or 2, but it's gonna be a great match. And I know that Stephanie continues to impress in the ring. And I think Liv, she's been there 10 years. She deserves the moment. I think she deserves the credit that for the lack of, well, I don't really have the right way to say this, but I think that she's been, in terms of the women, and there's amazing women left and right in that division. But to
Very
me,
much so.
there's not a person to me that stands out in terms of, for me, someone that is feels like I'm not watching a character or overacting. Feels like I don't know who I'm gonna get when I see them on TV. Like there's an inconsistency, like a shoveler, or there's other things happening here where they've had a bad performance and then maybe they've just kind of gone off TV for a while. Liv is constantly, consistently across the board the exact same thing. And I think she's done a great job consistently showing up, consistently going all in and making me going like, oh, is that real? Even for like a half a second. I think she's done a really good job over the last 3 years, really honing her craft. So I think like she's gone from, oh, she's a Money in the Bank winner and she might kind of be here and might not be, to like, oh no, she's fucking here. She's one of the best they have consistently. And she may not be like bell to bell the best wrestler, but I would be remiss to say that she's not, to me, one of the most entertaining women they have across the board.
Yeah, and it's exactly why John Cena's totally cool with her making one of his last matches about her return from that injury, because she is somebody that you can put that into, believe that she can own that spot and make the most of it. You know, and that's the same thing I love about a Chelsea Green. But when you say like, okay, if it's somebody who doesn't scream character, then yes, Liv Morgan 100%. And like, obviously, it's been a while since I've been on the show. So like, the Royal Rumbles have happened. And I was extremely happy with the Women's Rumble, especially with Liv winning. Because like you said, like she really has, and like regardless of what they've said in the promos of like, oh, she had it spoon fed to her through the system and all that. The bottom line is like, it's like you said, she literally went from this person who like you didn't even believe should win the Money in the Bank to even remotely look at a Ronda Rousey title match to now like, yeah, why isn't she main eventing WrestleMania? Why do we have to sit through the 2 other titles? Why can't she main event? Well, because unfortunately there's other box office and whatever. But like, I think, and I'm actually surprised as you were, that it's in your shine, because I think Liv Morgan is the shine. The segment I wasn't a fan of because it seemed so contrived and the audience just didn't buy it. Like Liv really tried to hook you in with the, oh my gosh, I feel so bad about your story, and then did the, oh my God, look at this turn that I'm going to do. That means I'm totally going to slurn around on her. Like it felt very like, we know how this is going to go. And I wish it was more like, they dragged out the pick for that when they could have just done something like that like 3 weeks ago and just honed in more on the story that they told in that segment with that backstage interview. Like, let's skip all this, oh, who's she gonna fight? Because we know which one she's gonna fight. The Chamber's gonna determine the other thing anyway. Let's get that out of the way now so we can dig into these personal matters, and then Liv can come back with the fact that, okay, yeah, I came runner up all these years in this Rumble. It's been my time for this long, and now I have it, and you have my title, whatever it may be, But at least we're getting here. At least they're trying to put some emotional investment, especially in Stephanie Vaquer, who's like been stuck in that Raquel Rodriguez rut for so long that it needs something fresh now. We need somebody like a Liv Morgan to like, hey, let's go out and have this in Mania level match. And when you say this felt like a Mania segment, it absolutely did, in the sense of like, oh, like a Batista kind of thing, the thumb up, thumb down. So it's like, all right, now that we're here, now we can even push it further.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with what you said and all your sentiments, but I will say I don't agree with the Joe Stopper, who said it is a WrestleMania. She's worthy of a WrestleMania singles match. She has improved, but I don't buy her as a credible champion. Now, if she was a babyface, I'd agree with you. But because she's a heel, I totally agree that she can be a credible champion. I think
Absolutely.
especially having the Judgment Day and having the people around her, I think it makes a hell of a lot of sense. I mean, the one person, in my opinion, who's getting screwed out of this entire thing is Raquel Rodriguez, only because I feel like she deserves something in a singles match or maybe a ladder match or something. I think she deserves maybe not the tippy top title, but definitely a second, tier title, because I think in the last year or two, she's been really bringing her A game. I know people, kind of roll their eyes at her, but I think that she's done a great job.
She really has. And like, she's really like, I feel like ever since she like figured out, hey, I am a big gal, let me do big gal stuff. Like, again, there's not a lot I can tout about when it comes to Raw, but at least the final stretch of the women's three-way between Kyrie, Io, and Raquel, like the counterfest to get something, it felt so scrappy, and the way she's getting people into the Tejana bombs and all that. Like, Raquel's really stepped it up. And if I had a pen, man, I would love to watch her win the Elimination Chamber and fight a Jade Cargill but again, like, they're not gonna maybe pull a trigger like that because she's done all the Stephanie stuff and they kind of need to let Liv have the title stuff. But like, Raquel absolutely does deserve kind of something for all this, because again, like, she had 4 matches against Stephanie Becerra and has nothing to show for it except for standing behind Liv. Mm-hmm. So like, hopefully post Mania, like, maybe even if she's mixing it up in that IC division while hopefully Roxanne comes back, maybe they do some tag stuff with her and Liv instead, so that way Raquel can have that shine. But like, I agree with you in the sense that, Raquel kind of does get the shiz end of this stick.
All right. Anything else that's positive that you want to talk about before we move on to the Heat?
No, I think I kind of hit up. I mean, at least Dragon Lee still has some edge to him. Good for him.
Fuck him. That's what I say.
Oh, yeah. I'm so used to your LA Knight tangents.
The future of Lucha Libre. Give me a fucking break. Sorry. I just can't. I just can't. Anyway, get him off my TV. Get him off my TV. Get him off my TV. We're in the Heat. We can get heaty. It's fun. It's exciting. Dragunov versus Tama. Not a good match. A slop fest, in my opinion. And Tama fucking wins. And I'm just like, what? Like, I get it. We're priming him for the United States title, but like, seriously, guy? Really? Like, this is what we're doing? It's not my favorite thing in the world. That bothered me, but whatever. Yeah. It's fine.
I mean, I don't get it either, especially because it's like, all right, so if he's priming for the US, then why is he Solo's partner for the tag titles? Why is he even the one going for the US title when there's a perfectly good Jeff Cobb, JC Mateo, sitting right there? Like, and he's just wasting away. Like, this dude is like one of the most best hybrid wrestlers you can find. And it's like, you have Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa, a perfect tag team. Like, all the pieces are right here, but no, you're busy having a feud with the Wyatt Six. Then you're feuding with Ilya. You're feuding with Shinsuke Nakamura. You've got the babyface a lot. Like, I feel like they're trying to recapture what they had with the Bloodline with the MFTs, in the sense that they have to be involved in everybody's business or nobody's business. And we haven't gotten to the nobody yet, because no matter what segment it is, for some reason, they're feuding with somebody. And like, it is weird, like, because it's like, all right, what is the point? Because it's like, Ilya Dragunov just comes off doing all this stuff. And now I feel like, what was a laughable spot in the Rumble with Lesnar is now just becoming a consistency of people like no selling his stuff. And like you said, it gets sloppy. You need 4 guys. Like, where is the point in this? I don't know.
And it's really taking someone, at least in my value, that is really, really special. But now you've made him feel like everyone else. And like, he's very close. He's on the fence of really, really good. And you believe what he's saying. And at the same time, you look at him and you go, he's a little slapstick. He's a little bad acting. Like, and you need the ferocity and the viciousness to counteract his like bad acting and fucking whoop 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 fucking clothesline content special and all that other stuff. Like, I want him to do better, and I'm not a huge fan of like the fact that it was like, oh, we're gonna sacrifice Dragunov. No one will remember that for the stupid fucking Wyatt thing. And I get we're getting Howdy versus Solo. It feels like 6 months too fucking late. I don't know. Like, what are we doing here? Is Howdy interesting? I don't know. Not for me. Like, I'm pretty critical of all Wyatt Six stuff now. I used to love that shit, but like more of the Firefly Funhouse. But it's so hard because like I'm sure the Undertaker had bad shit too, but like I don't know. I feel like they protected the Undertaker in a way that made it feel like it's the Undertaker. I don't feel like they protect any kooky, weird characters anymore. Like they sacrificed the Fiend at some point. Like it just feels like they wouldn't know what to do with it nowadays because like, oh, no one's gonna believe that. It's not the 90s, Adam. You know, like we're living in 2026. It's like, yeah, but you can still suspend disbelief here and be like, show me something really fun. And I think
Right, and again, like if it's gonna be one of those things where like you gotta sacrifice them, like make it in a way that's interesting instead of just running the same loop of stuff for the sake of calling it a long-term story. But it's like, no, we're just like, why? Like, what is the point of them feuding over this lantern? They're not even like putting the weight behind it that there should be. Like, this is a sentimental item, and like when you say, okay, like there's nothing interesting about the Wyatts, that's the biggest thing is where there is so much, but like between them being off TV for so long for no reason. And people will say, well, Bo was hurt. Doesn't matter. Just have him there. Have him cutting promos. He's good at that. You can have the other three fighting and doing stuff and being a part of stuff. Because like you said, this match should have happened 6 months ago. This feud could have been done and we could have been exploring different pieces. Like, when is Nikki Cross going to have anything to do? Like, has she had a match since this group has formed? Like, ever? Like, you know what I mean? So it's one of these things where I wish that there was this sense of like, okay, there is a sense of this feud is going too long. Let's end it so we can do new things, or at least get some different people on the screens. Because there's so many people that you could sit here and be like, well, where are they? The same way that you could go, well, where were the Wyatts? Because they don't want to use them because they're playing the same hoops.
Good points. All good points. Something else that was kind of a weird head scratcher for me was, again, now that I can, JC's not here, and I know you're not going to have an American Nightmare ass kissing. It's weird to me because usually on this program, JC always talks about how, Cody Rhodes is this, Cody Rhodes is that. I get he's QB1 and the whole shit, but like, it's really hard for me sometimes. Like I understand. You look at Cody Rhodes, he's the guy. Like you get it. He's the guy that does everything right. He knows exactly what he's doing. But like for me as a fan, it's really hard sometimes when you're putting the person who doesn't have the title in things and still he feels like the most important thing in the show. You're not giving me a breather as a fan to be like, what else you got? And like I don't think they can put Cody in something that is, especially during WrestleMania season, that isn't like the tippy top thing. But like Drew McIntyre, for lack of any term, has been doing the best he can. And he's being pretty original. But like now I'm sitting here thinking to myself, Zach, it seems like, spoiler alert for my prediction, Cody Rhodes wins Elimination Chamber, but they may shoehorn Jacob Fatu into a triple threat match here with McIntyre. So then it doesn't matter that you need to win Elimination Chamber to get to the Mania main event. You can just run roughshod all over the goddamn place and just scream Fatu and you get a world title shot at WrestleMania. So we're not only are we fucking taking a big pants poop on the Elimination Chamber and saying like doesn't matter, but it's just like everything else in between is just like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Now, maybe if Fatu wins, I'd be excited. But I don't see that fucking happening.
Right. And Fatu's not even in the chamber, but I'm sure he'll get involved in it somehow, and that's how you'll justify it or whatever. But like, and when you say like, oh, Cody can't do anything that isn't the tippy top thing, you're right, and it's a blatant thing. Because it's like, all right, you look at a guy like Randy, right? Like Randy's got this little side thing going on now with Aleister Black that I was kind of digging. I'm like, this could be some interesting like psychological warfare, right? And then Drew McIntyre comes and bashes Randy with the belt. So it's like, oh, it's like you hear this rumblings of like, oh, maybe they'll even do like a multi-person match for the WWE title, which would even then more kill the Elimination Chamber concept if you're just giving now on top of Fatu, multiple people a title shot. But in the same vein as Cody, and you're gonna love me for this one, does LA Knight need to be here? Does LA Knight need to be in every single thing for the past 2 years? Same, even, and I mean, not even to disrespect him, but Randy Orton. Like, if it has to do with Cody and the title, Randy Orton has to be there so he can just do his little eye glares. And it's like, why? Because then it just takes all the like ambiance out of it, where it's like, well, okay, because if we were gonna do you, we should have did you a long time ago. It's long past this. Like you said, it's most likely gonna end up being Cody, and I don't want it to be Cody because we were talking about Trick earlier, and it's like obviously he's not at that point yet, but he's making a great case to be more over than anybody else in the chamber match. Javon Evans will not main event WrestleMania, but hell, like he's gonna be the most talked about thing coming out of that chamber. If he ain't Kofi Kingston after beating Kofi Kingston with a rapper, because we need more celebrity endorsements. Heat.
Hey, you stay away from Offset. He was actually pretty good. All right.
Why?
Offset.
Why? So he can have a 5-minute entrance at the chamber when Javon turns heel.
That's never gonna fucking happen. Don't say that. Don't say that.
No, Stone Cold will stand there. It'll be an exact mirroring of Cena.
Oh God, that's terrible. But listen, I'll say this much: if it's anything more than a triple threat at Mania, it's gonna feel like, what the fuck are we doing? Are you gonna put it in a ladder match? Are you gonna put it in a fucking elimination chamber? Like, what are you gonna do? Like, if it's like anytime you go past a triple threat to me, in any other situation, it's fine. But at Mania, if you do a 5 or even a 4, like, I don't know, that fatal 4-way is gonna be tough.
I can't even think. Like, have they done a 4-way since the one in 2000? Like, I think they've only counted them at triples.
I've lost. I used to be able to name everything that happened, and now
I can only think of the McMahons in every corner. Yeah. Like, and even I don't think they've even done more than that for a title fight at Mania. So, like, if they go that route, like, you know what? WWE's all about making history, right? Let's do something that's never been done before in the main event, and we'll have the box office that we can't afford to sell because Vegas is too expensive, and we're blocking people from watching it.
Yes. To answer your question, thank you to the AI. AI, Allen Iverson. No, look, it's rumored that we're getting a fatal 4-way this year, but you are correct. The McMahon in every corner is the only one. So the world title was the 2000. The last time there was a fatal 4-way. As Grayson Flax, our boy Flax is in here. Thank you, Flax, for showing up and hanging out with us. We appreciate you, Flax. The Proving Ground DLC champion, by the way, just in case you haven't, if you've been living under a rock.
Get your tickets at Proving Ground store for March 14th. Cheap plug.
And by the way, wrestling in a triple threat like a stud. Anyway, now that we've plugged our shit, listen, fatal 4-way, maybe fatal 5 or even a 6-pack challenge. It ain't fucking ridiculous, right?
Yeah, they jump in the shark at that point.
I don't know. Anyway,
that's what you do with your U.S. titles. Have a 7-person open challenge. Who cares?
It's funny because Drew McIntyre was like, they can talk about anything about me and shit on me, but the minute they fucking shit on the title and make it sound less than, you know what's less than? Fucking having more than 2 people challenge for it. That's how you fucking make it bad.
Yeah, because that's when Kit Wilson comes in for a title shot.
Don't you dare besmirch him. Yeah, there you go. There's the hip swivel. You're surprisingly good at that. Don't do that again. So
I'm gonna do it in the booth next time we work together now.
I'm not supposed to laugh anymore. I'm supposed to be serious. Anyway, moving on. What else don't I like? I don't know. There's so much that I could probably shit on. Not that I don't really want to, but I'm curious your take on some of the stuff that's going to be happening here. Does it matter to you? Like, I'm not a fan of Rhea Ripley and Io as a tag team, but also being single stars. I get it. But it feels like, to me, Rhea Ripley and the tag titles have been kind of just everywhere. And I understand they're important, and like Bliss and Charlotte did a good job. But now I feel like I've really hated the Kabuki Warrior stuff. And then like the Rhea Ripley and Io thing, it just feels like it's, I don't know if they did it on purpose to kind of like downplay Rhea Ripley because she's such a star. But the last 6 months, maybe a year, I feel like, man, does she feel like everybody else? I don't know. It's just weird.
I think, honestly, I'm inclined to disagree a little bit because, like, you talk about how well Charlotte and Alexa did with the belts, and I think a lot of that was parlaying it to another team that can like keep the level of what Alexa and Charlotte set up for. Because it's like, okay, we took these two really big names, put them together, let them have a tear. So now we got these are the other two biggest women we really have right now, because Io Sky got incredibly over in the past year and a half, and Rhea Ripley's just the biggest woman you can name. So let's put the belts on them. Let's give them something, since they can't be in the world title picture right now, and half our other teams are out of commission anyway. So we can just kind of like, I'm more mad at like how they're handling the reign itself rather than who has it. Where, because like I look at a tweet from Lyra Valkyrie where it's like, where's me and Bailey's title shot? Why do Lash and Nia get another title shot for no reason? Because the creative wheels are in a rut and we don't know what else to do. So let's just book the same match we already booked. Like, there are other people on these shows that you can be doing, and that's the idea of putting on the belts on a Rhea and a Io, right? To allow these other teams to then get better off the back of them. But if they're just fighting the same two teams of Kabuki and Lash and Nia, then what is it actually doing for anybody? It's just allowing Rhea to take a belt onto all the things that she does.
Fair enough. How upset are you going to be when the Bella Twins beat Rio?
Oh gosh, let's not, because like,
That's
why
what's
are
going to happen?
they're still, are they even still here? They haven't been on TV in how many weeks?
Doesn't matter. Here's the thing. What I've realized, because I've worked 17 years in television and production, and then you look at something from a wrestling point of view and you're like, oh, they really don't give a shit until the day after the chamber. They're like, nah, none of that matters. But the day after, everybody comes back and it's full fucking steam ahead. And you're just like, Roman Reigns is coming back. Brock Lesnar's going to stand there for 6 weeks until someone answers the challenge. The Bella Twins are going to come out and shake it and listen to Brie Mode, and nobody wants to listen to that fucking song. And you're just sitting there and you're like, it must be WrestleMania season because everybody wants a fucking paycheck. And it's just like, forget about all the other people. We call them regular season because they're doing all the fucking hard work. Move over, regular season people. Here come the fucking back up the Brinks truck, because all the fucking people who are marquee names come back, and they're not fucking helping, in my opinion, because it's just not compelling television.
The only way Brie Bella helps anything is if it comes with a big fat American dragon, okay? Like, let's call it a spade here, because the only reason if their whole thing is we're gonna win them because we never got to win them because they didn't exist, like, you guys are Hall of Famers. Who cares? You guys are in the Hall of Fame for reasons that are highly doubtable anyway. So, like, go be with your 22-year-old Philadelphia Eagle. Like, we don't need you here in Mania season. And you know what? If you want to do it after Mania. That way it doesn't, like, actually incriminate on, like, the actual meritable stories that these people are putting their time and efforts into. Do it in, like, a 1-month pop shot reign, Hell, you should have just done it in Evolution. How the heck did we not figure that out? Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, I get you. Something else that we didn't get to talk about, but I guess it's time now. Can we have a moment of silence for the Vision? Is it DOA? Is it time of death? Because it feels like it, right?
It's a damn shame.
It's divine intervention is what I think it is.
You know what? If it was divine intervention, they would have taken out the other two, in my opinion. Like, if the wrestling gods were looking down on us, they would have taken out the two most annoying pieces of this faction and left the ones that mattered. All right? Freaking Braun Breaker gets hurt flipping a table. Bronson Reed gets hurt breaking up a pin. Meanwhile, these two jackoffs can sit here and just spout their prime and they're nothing. Oh my God, I'm from Atlanta. I hate Atlanta. Who cares? Like, the Vision needs to be scrapped. It needs to be shot in the back of the head like old Yeller. This is a friggin' mess and a half. You know what? No, they'll save it with Brock because Paul's got Brock now. It's fine, guys. It's fine.
Yeah. This is like, obviously Seth Rollins, boom, that fucking hurt, clearly. But Braun Breaker, my God, that was just monumental. And then you see it and you're just like it's almost like you feel bad because once you get to Bronson Reed and a bicep tear, you're just like, it was on a fucking breaking a pinup. Like
Literally.
he put
And
his
that's what's
arm
my
out.
biggest. It's the simplest thing. And like I wanted to come on here honestly and be like, man, maybe it'll teach some people to like, think but when they're putting this stuff together. And then I remembered, wait a minute, this isn't AEW. And then I'm watching the spots. I'm like, they didn't even do anything wrong. Like, he literally just broke up a pin and tore his bicep, and now he'll be out for potentially 6 months after he was already out with the broken ankle from the War Games thing a couple years ago. Like, people were ragging on him, like, oh, he hasn't done nothing since he beat Roman Reigns. Well, yeah, because he had to play second fiddle to all these other freaking guys, and now he's hurt again, and it sucks. And a guy like Xavier Woods is hurt, and it sucks. And Chelsea Green and Roxanne Perez, like, sucks, and it derails so much great stuff that could be happening right now. And I feel like that's why a lot of things are so like undefined right now, because it's like, how many more are gonna freaking fall off the wayside at this point? Like, you literally put all your eggs into this vision basket. You did the ruse of the century. You had the turn the night after Mania. You friggin' have Roman Reigns put over this big guy, and now for all of them to be hurt right before WrestleMania, where it matters the most. It's like, it's so debilitating, like literally.
It's tough because I mean, like, that Logan Paul is going to be featured somehow, and like
Maybe he'll fight Offset. I'm sure you'd love that, wouldn't you?
Would you stop giving Offset a hard time? There have been way worse celebrities. You could literally write an entire article about bad celebrities at WrestleMania or when they were hosting Monday Night Raw. It doesn't matter. I'm just saying, Offset impressed me. That's all I'm saying. I don't know. So people are saying how bad the injury is. Of course, Flax was saying it looked rough. Our boy here with the Joe Stopper saying his heart sank. Look, I think we feel bad because I think in theory, no pun intended, we wanted this to work out. But the minute Seth Rollins fucked up and did something he probably shouldn't have, it's weird. It's fucking weird. But then, like, the Braun Breaker thing was like, okay, I believe in Braun Breaker. I do. Like, I don't have to think he's my guy, but I'd be a fucking idiot to sit there and go, okay, he checks all the boxes and WWE loves this guy. So, like, it makes sense to me. He's a fucking monster, But, like, what do you do? And then you get to a point of, like, how do you make this work? And I don't know if you saw this, but Heyman went on fucking Busted Open and said, Austin Theory is Shawn Michaels and the Rockers right now. And I was like, what?
What a time to throw that line out, because I damn near died.
I'm sitting there going, he's certainly in the Rockers, but he ain't Shawn. Like, what are we doing here? So, like,
Grayson Waller was the Shawn of that tag team, and he's fondling around with the New Day. Like, what are we doing? He should be doing this.
I don't know. It's tough. I mean, so
justice for my boy Grayson Waller.
Flax says, could it be Logan versus Javon? That would be fun. I think that's a fun matchup. I still think there's hope that they pull the Bad Bunny card out.
I think it'd be such a funny thing if they brought in Bad Bunny, considering the side of the fence they ride on with the Super Bowls, That's just, I love poetic irony, it's so much fun.
As my daddy always told me, Daddy Nestle always said, bullshit walks, money talks, baby. That's exactly how it works. So if there's enough cash, they'll back up the truck. That's all it is. And he loves wrestling. So I can see that happen. I had a wild hope last week or 2 weeks ago about how Tom Brady's going to get involved with the Logan Paul match at WrestleMania because it's in Vegas. I can see that.
My God.
That'd be fucking nuts if that happens. I would just flip the fuck out because I would love to see Tom get in there and fucking say it's cute and then get fucking lit up. That would be fucking awesome.
Wouldn't that be something? That would be two former New England Patriots who would be showcased at WrestleMania.
Yo, soy fiesta. Yeah. Unbelievable.
Listen, Gronk fell off that balcony for our sins.
Oh, yeah. So we didn't talk about the crate or we talked about Brock Lesnar's mystery opponent. I will let you choose the adventure here for the crate or Brock Lesnar.
So Because I haven't really gotten to hear what your thought on the crate is, so I actually am curious because like I have a thought and a half about the crate, but I'm like, all right, what does Nestle think this is before I sound ridiculous?
Well, people are thinking it's Chris Jericho in like a red herring kind of way. It's not going to be like box open and break the walls down. It's going to be like box opens and it's a fucking guitar and someone picks it up and it's a Fozzy concert at Elimination Chamber. And it's like, okay, I could believe that. My other thing was like, if it's somebody that's like goofy, it's fine. But if it's somebody we're supposed to take seriously, it's fucking dead on arrival. Like that's when I look at it, it's like, it is gobbledygooker territory for me. Like it's getting me interested. But Jericho is smart enough. Jericho's my top 5. Like, regardless of how you feel about the man now, for me, he's always been top 5. But he's smart. He's very, very smart. And I know he knows a shitty idea when he sees one. So, like, I'm more excited to think that it's not Chris Jericho and it's something else. But I don't have high hopes for this. I really don't, because I think this is literally going to be the stupidest thing we've ever seen.
Right. And that's why, like, and I'm glad you said it the way you said it, because it's like, okay, I'm sitting here like everybody thinks it's a person. But like in the reality scope, why would it ever be a person? Like if in theory, right? No pun intended, literally here. If it's a person, they're dead on arrival at Elimination Chamber, or they are grasping for the end of their life. Yeah. They're jet lagged at least going back and forth between these offices, and I can only imagine how Johnny's doing planking on top of it now. They should add Maxine to it now after the spot with the ring post. They should just keep everybody who dies should just eternally be on top of the box. You know what? Maybe it's a coffin. Maybe it's a coffin for all the injured wrestlers. But I would like to think, and credit to my bro for this, that maybe it's just a giant statue of Triple H commemorating how great of a job he's doing. They're just gonna open it and it's gonna be like, good job, everybody. Look at this. We got the highest gate. We're gonna do WrestleMania again. Saudi. Oh man, isn't this beautiful?
Maybe I'll be pleasantly surprised, but when the bar is set so low,
Wax, look at that. It's gonna be a statue. See? Look at this.
Yeah.
Big brains.
Yeah, listen, it's got to be something. Like, I just don't. I'm hopeful that it's not going to be bad. But anyway,
because it's like you said, like it is gobbledygooker levels of like remember, like it's like when Vince had that egg thing, where it's like, what are these hokey concepts? Where it's like, if you're gonna do, like, could we not come up with better ways to introduce, like, because literally, if it's not a person. Like, what could it be that's in this ginormous box?
But
it's just a plot.
But here's the thing. It's intriguing. Like, that's
it will be all right. It'll at least get you to watch the pay-per-view to be like, all right, what is in this damn box?
They are not concerned. I've realized this. They are not concerned with the payoff. They're concerned with you forking over cash to see what's inside it. It's curiosity.
Yeah, but anybody going to pay ESPN to know what's in the box? Let it be The Rock. Let it be The Rock. Come on.
Yeah,
The Rock comes back a year too late to finally finish the Cena heel turn.
Yeah, I know, right? Jesus. Oh, well. I guess we could get in. Do you want to get into the hope? You want to talk about Brock Lesnar's opponent? Is that your hope? We could talk about those things right there.
I mean,
do you want to get into the hope?
Because I think it's too soon to be Gunther. I feel like that's your SummerSlam. So, like, I mean, unless they want to just retire Brock early, I wouldn't mind. I think that would be a great service for WWE if they just kind of, had Gunther career kill him real quick, I mean, because, like, what else can Brock really serve anymore? Like, clearly nobody cared enough about his comeback to sell to ESPN to watch the Cena fight. Like, he hasn't, like, turned anything the way that they thought he was going to. So, like, unless you really want to stretch him to SummerSlam, you could just have Gunther kill him, because then otherwise, what's Gunther doing? Because Gunther didn't get into the chamber. He's not factored into any big main event plans unless he's going to go fight Drew McIntyre for some reason. But, like...
I do agree with Flax that people are chanting for Oba. That seems like the front runner, if it's not Gunther. But, like, also, like, they kind of shot themselves in the foot with this Jacob Fatu thing, because I think Jacob Fatu versus Brock Lesnar would be fucking dope. Like
That would be.
But they're not gonna, because they can be like, Brock, all gas, no brakes. I've been to prison. I'm not afraid of you. Like, I would fucking die. I would be like, this is the greatest thing I've ever. And you want to talk about universally a crowd cheering for one guy to fuck up another guy? They would want. Like, I can believe, like, if you sit there and you close your eyes and you think about Jacob Fatu and he looks at Brock Lesnar and he goes, I can't wait for WrestleMania, so I'm gonna dog walk your ass. I'm gonna be like, holy shit, that could happen. Like, Brock Lesnar dog walking, who? Like, I'm getting goosebumps, literally goosebumps right now. Not like, I know, I know. In tandem, might I add. But like, it's just like shit like that comes to mind to me. Like, I'm literally scrolling through and it's like, it's not going to be Chris Jericho versus Brock Lesnar. That doesn't seem like a good fucking idea. Like, they're not going to feed Sami Zayn like to him.
Poor Sami Zayn, man. Where's Sami Zayn's loving all this? Man, he could have been in that elimination chamber. He could have been doing stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like, as I'm looking, I'm like, it's got to be over. The only other thing I could think of, because they're holding off on it and it could be like a big thing, would be like Powerhouse Hobbs. But I don't know. It feels like you could ask for Powerhouse Hobbs.
But I don't. But like, I think, you know what though?
I don't know who he is.
If they give him nothing to build on, to like, it's not gonna come off right to fight a Brock. At least right now, like, if it is Oba, which at this point it probably should be, like, they're doing enough. Like, they're kind of treating him like an 03 Brock, where they're just letting, like, it doesn't matter what size the guy is, they're just letting him throw it around. So, like, all right, have it be that mirror fight. Hell, he even does like that back suplex that's kind of like an F5 throw kind of thing. So, like, that could work. And you know what? You talk about how Oba kind of feels like the teddy bear, right?
Yeah.
And you say that when you hear the Brock Lesnar music, it means someone's going to die. Well, you know what? How about we beat the allegations all together? You put him in there with Brock, and then there it is. It's either he's the most intimidating badass and he beats Brock Lesnar, or he gets eaten.
Okay. Brock versus Jade, says Flax.
No, Brock versus Raquel Rodriguez, if that's the case.
Jesus Christ. We're getting way off topic here, but it's
Brock,
fine.
No, it's El Grande Americano, baby.
If that's not a mask versus mask at WrestleMania, I am absolutely going to be upset, because that is given to a silver platter to all of us as fans. You do a mask versus mask. It makes perfect fucking sense. And
literally.
I don't understand it, folks. It's literally like, I know people are like, oh, wrestling fans can't book shit. Well, there's something staring you right in the fucking goddamn face. If you can't do that, then what the fuck are we doing here? You're going to sit there and be like, oh, let's put it on the pre-show. Fuck you. Give it fucking time. We got 2 nights. That's a match.
They were gonna have Grande Americano versus, like, about to blow out a hip Rey Mysterio last year, all right? Like, we can afford to let the 2 Americanos go at it on a main.
Yeah. Anyway, let's get hopeful very quickly, all right? Let's cleanse the palate, all right? Do we have Do we have hopes?
Do you have hopes? Do you have high hopes for a minute?
I have a hope, yes. And this was something that was triggering me on Friday night, folks. Look, as I was watching Sami Zayn being a sad sack of shit, I kept thinking to myself, I had to watch this fucking Sami Zayn promo where he was pissed off because Cody was like, hey, just remember, like, you had help this time if you get there, because I did the right thing and you didn't, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, here's what we're doing. Sami Zayn ain't fucking doing shit. He's going to be a sad sack all the way to June. He's going to have to turn heel, become Money in the Bank guy, and fucking cash in on Cody Rhodes. That's what we need. And then, this is the beauty of storytelling, folks. Not only does Sami Zayn finally reach the fucking mountaintop for being the bad guy and fucking not being the good guy, but people are going to look at him and be like, you know, Sammy, you did it, but you didn't do it the right way. And that'll haunt him for the next fucking 10 years until he gets another fucking title shot 10 years from now.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? That's a great look at things, you know, especially like if you're going to have it become like Because that's a great story, especially going into a Saudi Mania.
Mm-hmm.
Like, all right, you put the belt on him, and now it's a matter of ha ha ha. I'm gonna take it to my freaking whatevers, and you can all whatever. At least because he does need a refresh. I am a huge Sami Zayn advocate. Like, but it's really this thing where it's again, like, and people will say the same thing about Finn Balor, or at least I'll say it about Finn. Like, eventually, I can't get invested in the same exact mission statement every single time. Like, there's only so many times that I can believably hear you say, I won the title 10 years ago and I never lost it, before it's like, all right, well, either you're winning it or you're not good enough for it. And it's like, we all know Sami Zayn's good enough for it. We all know that he was good enough for it when he was fighting Roman Reigns. And I feel bad for Finn, where I'm drawing the comparison from, but that's where he kind of feels like he is right now, where he's that guy that everybody wants to just be their guy, and he can't, because it's the Cody Rhodes, it's the LA Knight, it's that contingency of things. And like, he's got to get something going for him so people can just stop saying that he's not worth the time, because he is. And people who want to sit here and say that like he isn't cracked up to what he is, like, aren't paying attention, because he is one of the most impassionate people you can find. Somebody who checks all the boxes except for maybe being big. I'm sorry, he's not genetically a freaking meathead, but not everybody can be. The fact of the matter is, he has the heart to do it. And you know what? Like you said, you know what? That story right there is the exact same thing they should have did with Cena, but they'll have the time to actually tell the story rather than have to cut it out and go, well, I'm a good guy now again.
Good point. So I guess your hope is that you agree with me.
I mean, I hope at least, I hope the Bella Twins don't win the tag team titles, because we do not need this in a million gosh darn years. Oh my, you know what? Where is something that I hope that people can just stop falling into the injury bug, because again, like we mentioned it earlier, but like with all these people that have unfortunately gone down, like there's so many that like, and hopefully, you know what? Hopefully it'll allow people now to fill those spots. Maybe they'll actually take a chance on something new, instead of just going, oh, we need Jey Uso to do it. Or, oh, we need this person to just be in that spot again because, well, this person that we were going to try doesn't. Take a chance. There's nothing wrong with it. Like, again, an Ilya Dragunov, where give this guy that open, that blank canvas to now create this actually compelling run. Because if you don't, then it's like you said, they kind of just fall by, and now you lose everything that you worked so hard to build with them when they're not capitalized on.
Maybe they'll do Dragunov versus Gunther.
You reprise that. That wouldn't be too bad.
I mean, it's something. It's not great, but it's something. Like you said, take a chance, make it happen. Pop your cork, finger snapping. You don't know the rest, do you? Spin the wheel, round and round you go. Life is good, life is sweet. Grab yourself a front row seat. No? Foxwoods? No?
I mean, if you want to, put a third mortgage on your house for a front row seat, you could go to Wrestlemania.
Hey, I'd buy a used car or a new car, and you still wouldn't have enough money to fucking, it's the same price. What is it, like $3,000, $5,000 for a fucking seat at WrestleMania? God damn it. Anyway, let's move on.
You know what? I found something that I can make a hope, because I hope, honestly, that this Natalia angle or Natty angle. No, because you know what? I'm sorry. Natalia is one of those ones that I have memed on for a decade plus. Her music would hit and I go, oh, is it Bret Hart returning? It's just Natalia. Because you know what? Who cares? But like the stuff that she was doing on the indies with the Natty Neidhart gimmick, I don't have the faith that they can actually make it feel compelling. But man, if they do, there's so much you could actually make Natalia interesting. I think that she has the believability. Like, she hardcore is invested in this. Like, she's putting everything she has into this. If this is her breadwin child, like, I hope for her. I honestly do, because it has potential. Like, there's something about it that just like, I want somebody who can just like feel like they can just snap at any moment. Like, I wish they would have kept that stuff going with Truth. I wish Truth would stop being a comedy goof still and like have Ron killings, but we can't have nice things.
Listen, I'll tell you this much. I would believe in Natty more and more if they didn't book her like Shayna Baszler. And guess what? Nobody gave a shit about Shayna Baszler either. And I love Shayna Baszler.
Yeah, they should have.
Because
nobody was too busy teaming with Nia Jax.
Nobody cares about people who can beat people up. You got to have more than just fucking moves and shit. Like, when you look at Natty, you don't get an emotional reaction.
There's lore. She has lore. She got 15 years of lore.
Listen, I believe that she's great, but like, you parade her out there and you fucking do nothing. Like, the whole MMA thing is like, it just doesn't translate. It just doesn't, because you look at Natty and you're like, fuck this. Like, I'm sorry. And putting her against Maxine, which, god damn it, that whole ending.
Because you're not wrong in the sense of like, fuck it when it comes to Natalya. But like, at least it gives her a merit to be on television. Because for the longest time, she's just everybody's best friend. That's all she's ever been is, I'm friends with you and then you turn on me. I'm friends with you and then you turn on me. Or I turn on you and I'm the big show of heel turns and face turns.
Listen, it's just not going to work out, Zach. Just let it go, okay? I
will. I probably will in like 3 weeks. I promise.
Man, I can't wait to get a text message from you when she finally wins an Intercontinental Championship. See, she means something. I'm gonna be like, yeah, no, fuck you, no, fuck you. All right, let's give our comebacks out and let's get the rest of the show because we get a sale. I'm gonna give my comeback to Dragon Lee. That's right, JC's not here, so I can fucking say this without hypocritical assholes on the other side of this fucking screen telling me shit. Yes, Dragon Lee jumped fucking Gunther. I'm sure he's gonna get pancaked and waffled and put in a sleeper. But hey, he showed some, fire and some piss and vinegar, and I'm happy for him. And, future of Lucha Libre. Give me a fucking break. Okay? There's my comeback.
I thought you didn't like Dragon Lee. Now all of a sudden you're like so happy that he's beating up Gunther?
Dragon Lee. Always hated Dragon Lee. 100%. Here's the thing. Inside the ring, I think he's fantastic. But I think that the fact that once the minute they stamped him as future of Lucha Libre, you might as well taken him out back and shot him. Because like when you say anybody's the new whatever or like the future of something, it's like, fuck this. Like it's done. Like you just can't do it. Like when you say the new Rockers, the new Midnight Express, boom. When you hear the new, like that's it. You're done. Future of anything, future of the business, boom, done. Show me somebody when they said the future of the fucking Lucha Libre has worked out before. They've done it like 6 times since Rey Mysterio has been in the WWE alone. And God damn it, none of them have lived up to Rey Mysterio. Dominic, if you want to say is the president of Lucha Libre, fine, I believe that. And the future of the business, perhaps, but Dragon Lee has zero connection to the crowd. And you want to give someone future of the fucking Lucha Libre? Then fucking start connecting with the crowd. Stop doing all the cool shit and start fucking listening to the crowd and do something about it. And sell his fucking masks for crying out loud if he's going to be the future of Lucha Libre. Like, do something.
Gosh, remember when he was in the LWO? Yeah, me neither.
Yeah. You want to know why? They quietly swept that under the rug. You want to know why? Because they fucking suck.
You will not disparage my boy Cruz Del Toro out here. There'll be no slander out of your mouth, Mr. Nestlemania.
I can mute you.
You can. That is true. So comeback, right? Yeah, that's the thing we're talking about. In terms of comeback, I'll give mine. I'll give it to Aleister Black. I'll give it a comeback to form, because I feel like Aleister Black has kind of just been the footnote in everybody's thing recently, whether it be Cody or whether it be, the Mellow Open Challenge or whatever. And he kind of just was like there to do one. But now he's able, like, now fresh out of the Priest feud, he's got something new to sink his teeth into with Randy Orton, actually beating Randy Orton. I mean, it was with the Drew help, but I again, you could kind of also slot it as a hope. Like, I really hope more for Zelina Vega to come out of this. Like, I thought that there was going to be more for her when she first aligned with it. So again, maybe now if there's something being new to sink her teeth into, maybe they can play up the family man of Randy Orton. They're a husband and wife or something. But I think this will allow Aleister Black to really, like, if this doesn't get him to gravitate with the people the way he should, I don't know what else can, because Randy Orton is such a psychologically prevalent character. And if there's anybody, like, he's the mind games guy. So this should just on paper work. on top of things that always have worked. Abyss, he was on Monday Night, and who doesn't love freaking Abyss? He full can, he pulled the cane in Survivor Series. The only person in the entire lineup in full character. Respect.
Listen. Fun fact about Abyss: Tony Spencer's favorite wrestler. Also, Tony Spencer would love a match with Abyss and Glacier.
I can see the inspiration in everything that Tony Spencer does now that I know that.
Yes. And if you see him, please tell him that Glacier versus Tony Spencer is a dream match of yours and see the result that you get afterwards. It's quite comical.
You know what? I wonder how much does Glacier cost nowadays? Jeez.
I don't know. He's probably just happy to be announced as Glacier at this point. He'll probably do it for a hot dog and a handshake. Anyway, moving on. We should go to the big old finish here. We've got predictions, and we got to talk about AEW if you want. All right. We have Elimination Chamber. We'll talk. We'll back the truck up here, folks. We got Becky Lynch versus AJ Lee for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Seems like a fucking slam dunk for AJ Lee, don't you think?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
I could see this going Becky.
Mm-hmm.
The vein of why here? And again, we know how these things go. I can see this being AJ AJ got the win on the mixed tag match. Becky gets a cheap win here. You don't really count War Games because it's 5v5, and I don't know if they were the ones involved in that decision. I can't remember. It was so long ago. But I feel like you just kind of have one of those definitive, it's a marquee enough match to put on a Mania card. So I could see Becky retaining, and you know what? It's in Chicago. So you know what? You split them, maybe giving away the next match pick, but give one to one Chicagoan, have the other one, have a reason to be like, oh, you got me.
I thought they were going to Benoit Guerrero WrestleMania 20 with both of them with the belts and the confetti at the end of the night, but you
gotta have one that wins it. Eddie walked into it and retained it.
Mm-hmm.
Benoit walked in and won it. Mm-hmm. So you gotta have one of each.
That's fair.
And then they can kiss and it'll be beautiful.
I feel like the safe bet is AJ Lee, so I'm going with AJ Lee. I agree with you that it seems like some type of chicanery could happen here, but we're getting closer to WrestleMania season and WrestleMania itself. And we go wider wire on the knock here for predictions. And I gotta keep my lead or keep in the standings.
That is true. So, I can I can throw an air ball if I want to and say Becky Lynch, and it doesn't affect me none.
Yeah, exactly. Hoop dreams. So we're gonna move on to not AJ Lee, CM Punk and Finn Balor.
You were right. It's AJ's husband. You were correct.
Yes, AJ's husband. I'm picking CM Punk because we've talked about this ad nauseum. You've been eloquently put that. How are we supposed to trust that Finn Balor can do anything at this point? So yeah, I mean, I'm sure it'll be a great match. I'm sure they're either going to start off with CM Punk coming out, I assume, or AJ Lee. I don't know. It feels like nothing to me, but a foregone conclusion.
Yeah, this is the slam dunk one, especially because this is the drawback again. I had the argument earlier about Liv prolonging. You could have just said it earlier, but then you fall into the problem of Roman Reigns, where it's all right, you literally just in writing told us what match is happening at WrestleMania. So if anything happens before that, you're not really gonna mess around with it. But I can at least respect them trying, because again, I talked to my bro about this stuff, and he's like, man, the amount that I do not care about this. I'm like, but they at least try to make Balor compelling in the angle where it's all right, you beat me in my home, I'm going to show up to your home. I like how, and all right, he's trying to have the moral compass of I have to beat Punk. I have to beat him, and I have to do it on my own. I don't need you guys to do it for me. So as much as I love what they're trying as hard as they can to make this feel like Sammy. And again, I'm using that comparison. They're really trying to make this feel like the Sammy Roman deal where it's believable that he'll win, but it is kind of feels like the foregone that Punk's going to keep his. We're going to get our big money match, and everybody will be happy about it.
Fair enough. Moving on to the women's elimination chamber. Tiffany Stratton versus Rhea Ripley versus Alexa Bliss versus Asuka versus Kiana James versus Raquel Rodriguez. Look, if it wasn't tag season for Rhea and Io, I'd say, shit, it's fucking Rhea. But based on everybody in here, I would say Tiffany Stratton.
And I'm inclined to agree with you. And I'm disappointed to agree with you because, like, I see so much money, like you said, in a Rhea Ripley Jade Cargill match. As much as, again, I'm one of those Jade Cargill. I still don't buy it. It's so funny that the last time I was on this show, I went on the whole rant about the "I'm that bitch" one-line promo, and then the entirety of her promo on SmackDown was the exact same thing, just with nothing verbiage before it. That she's still that bitch. So like it'd be nice if someone would just beat that bitch, but like I don't need the Tiffany Stratton match for the 5th time in a row now. But again, it's what like who else is gonna challenge? Who else could it possibly be? I mean, like I said it earlier, I'd love for Raquel Rodriguez to even be worth enough. But Tiffany Stratton, keep it over there. Fucking maybe Alexa Bliss. You know what? I'll say Alexa Bliss because you know what? Somehow she'll interlude with Charlotte. Charlotte will fuck it, and they'll have beef over why she has a title shot at WrestleMania. Sure.
Maybe.
She deserves it after the tag run.
All I'm going to say is now, every time I think of Jade, I'm going to have Trick Williams' song, Beat That Bitch, uh-huh.
What?
Yeah, bitch, I like it. Boom, beat that bitch. I'm going to be looking at you going, beat that bitch.
What?
Every time. You and I are going to be like, uh-huh. All right, going to the men's elimination chamber. Randy Orton versus LA Knight versus Cody Rhodes versus Javon Evans, Trick Williams, and Jey Uso, who apparently was not supposed to be in it at all. I don't think Javon or Trick Williams or Jey Uso have a fucking prayer. I can see Randy Orton, LA Knight, or Cody. But I'm picking Cody because Cody must Rhodes. That's what I'm
Cody must indeed Rhodes. As much as I'd like for it to be somebody, all roads lead to Cody on the road to WrestleMania. And again, if it leads into some other people's getting involved in it, then it doesn't really matter anyway who wins the Elimination Chamber. But for the sake of, well, who's going to win? It's going to be old Cody Rhodes.
See, for me, I know you have to get Cody there, but if you're going to have some fucking like random 4 or 5 man or 6 man thing for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania, I say we leave Elimination Chamber without a fucking hitch. Like it comes down to fucking Randy and Cody. Jacob Fatu just bursts in and just starts beating fucking people up. And you just fucking leave it in a fucking heap and you don't have a fucking answer. At least you do something like that at the end of the show. I'm sure Chicago would fucking hate it. But like, I don't know. It just feels like, what are we doing? Like,
it is really where, like, how do you get to it without it, like, just spitting on everything you're already doing? So, like, and again, like, it feels like one of those things where, like, Michael screws Undertaker so he can fight him. Where it's like, you know, why can't Cody fight Jacob Fatu at WrestleMania in a non-title match? Give it to somebody else. Because, again, all roads lead to Cody.
All right. So overall, you're not excited about Elimination Chamber, or you are?
I wouldn't say I'm not excited because again, it's the eliminate. It's kind of like the Rumble where it's that kind of show where you know something crazy is going to happen because again, Javon Evans will jump off a pod in a way that nobody's ever jumped off of a pod before, or he'll do like an Ultimate X style freaking thing and he'll hang from it and do a shooting star press off the thing because you know the kid can do nothing that isn't athletic as hell. And you know what? Maybe Kiana James will continue to freaking wow the world with her impressive athletic ability. You know, maybe she'll do something cool. I couldn't tell you, but I think Punk and Balor is at least a good match. AJ Becky have shown that they have some good chemistry. All in all, like this is what I look at when I look at a WWE card. More often than not, you can look at it and go, yeah, most of this is inconsequential. But at least they're going to give you like the performance that you want out of it.
Okay. All right.
It should be a fun show.
All right, I'm going to do this real quickly because I don't think you care about AEW, but boy, is this going to be fun on Wednesday night. You ready for this?
Ooh, what's happening on Wednesday?
Orange Cassidy versus Gabe Kidd. Who cares?
And like it's pockets versus everybody, man. Like, is there anybody he doesn't wrestle?
I don't know. Then we got this one: Mark Davis versus Brody King. What?
Sure, Brody. Sure.
We got John Moxley versus El Clone. What? And then we have the head scratcher to me, which is MJF and Hangman decide on their stipulation and yada, 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 which was, I don't think you watched on Wednesday, but it was the most confusing thing ever where they fucking, Hangman said, I'm pulling out the Cody Rhodes. If I lose this one, I'm never challenging for the title ever again.
Yeah. I've heard like, and then they're like, oh, and then we're going to have a stipulation. But then MJF is like, no, but then like, I have to agree. And I'm like, you guys are making it more convoluted than it needs to be. Just like, have your terms and sign your freaking deal. And this is why, and like, because as you're reading off this card to me, right? Because again, with people, you know what, you mentioned it to me before we went on the air. Shouts out Ricky Smokes and Vanity Project winning the NXT tag team titles in the same vein of people like an Alec Price and a Jordan Oliver who get signed to AEW. So like, yes, there'll be times where I'll look at a card and I'll be like, oh, look at that. That's a pretty decent card. They got some matches that would like maybe get somebody excited. But that was just like the draggiest drag to ever drag. Because it's like, none of it matters. Like, I get, all right, Death Riders and Don Callis family, but who cares about El Clone? Like, why is Brody King fighting Mark Davis outside of the fact that they're both thick? Like, a lot of times, like, they and this is why, again, like, it's hard for me to watch AEW, and I don't mean to, like, sound like the negative guy because, again, I'm not territorial when it comes to wrestling. You can like anything that you like. Watch any type of wrestling, all wrestling. Like, there shouldn't be any type of like battle lines drawn. But for me personally, they'll sacrifice what they're doing right for the sake of just having people fight on a random week and then pick it up 3 weeks later or never talk about it again. So it's like, why should I invest my time watching it when you're not going to reward me for the stuff that I should be paying attention to?
Fair,
like
fair,
that
fair
like that card is like, all right, why do I care about Brody King versus Mark Davis when Brody just lost to MJF?
Right. We get a bunch of fucking cans nobody cares about.
Did you even say a women's match? Is there even anything lady-wise on Dynamite?
Not that I can see that's promoted.
Damn.
I'm sure something will be on there from the Tekla. I love Tekla.
Or the One Sunshine Willow Nightingale.
Yes. I'm sure FTR will do something. Like, it just it's so weird to me because it's just like, we've talked about this ad nauseum, but they have the pieces. They just don't know how to fucking do it.
Exactly. Like, and that's my thing. Like, it's the same way I look at like some things on the independents. You can't really fault the talent that are under the deals or they're agreed to do the shows. Because at the end of the day, like, there are so many amazing people that are a part of that company who have so much star power and they have so much credible ability that they could really make some interesting stuff. The problem is the people who move the pieces don't feel like implementing certain pieces. So again, you're watching Orange Cassidy be in 8 feuds because they like Orange Cassidy. That's the thing. Ricochet gets to have a belt because Ricochet needed something and they gave him heavies. Why not? And like, again, if stuff works, it works. But more often than not, it's just hey, it's here and maybe it will be in 3 weeks. Maybe it won't.
So we really love AEW on this program, as you can tell. Anyway,
I don't mean to disparage. I mean, but like, I'll watch a free Ring of Honor on YouTube before I'll watch a Dynamite. And that's just because, maybe I'll go, oh, look, there's somebody. Well, I think Becca was on Collision. Sure.
On that note, I think we're pretty much wrapped up here. And so I want to thank you, Zach, for stepping in for JC. I'm sure I'll get notes from the one and only. He'll tell me all about how we should replace me and keep you. But that's fine.
They say JC knows, but the ZOAT knows that this show needs Nestlemania, especially when it's Nestlemania season, damn it.
Yeah, right? It's coming. All right, on that note, thank you, Zach, for being here. And we'll be back next week with some more jobber knockery.